As I was reviewing the season's meta videos, I've noticed that iFerg and VIG are suggesting a different VMP Gunsmith compared to what I use normally. And this is their Gunsmith, and in contrast this is my Gunsmith that I'm using. And then if it is not enough, I've noticed that Bobby suggests a different Gunsmith entirely as well. And so I've decided to just try them out and compare. And here I'm using the iFerg's and VIG's recommendation. It is kind of strange. Compared to my build, the ADS time is slightly slower, but the ADS movement is better, sprint to fire delay is lesser, the recoil is worse, and the hip fire is worse as well. Because the stock that we are using, it has just more hip fire deduction. And hip fire was also nerfed. And this combination, I don't quite understand it. Like, of course, ADS movement speed being better and sprint to fire delay being lesser is a good thing. And also the mobility, the regular mobility stat is also better on this build. But like at the same time, we have better sprint to fire delay and everything, but worse hip fire and slower ADS time. And I've tried it, it is usable, but I think I prefer my build, which will be next. And also in this match my teammates were kind of strange as well. Like I saw some of them just standing by B, not trying to take it. And the match, it was a close defeat, and I think that if my teammates were a bit more aggressive on capping the points, we would have won. But it was good, I got many kills, it is good to showcase how the weapon performs, how this build performs. And so here are the stats, and well, teammates, we did try to take captures, but it was just not enough, as you can see. And like I said, we really had a solid chance to win this one. And here I'm using my Gunsmith, and so it has better recoil, faster ADS time, and better hip fire. Now the sprint to fire delay is not as good, and also the movement is slightly worse, but I'm using the Skull Red pack, so it did not really feel as much of an issue. And I think that this build is kind of just more optimized, because we have a better hipfire accuracy, we have faster ADS time. Oh, and ADS movement is also not as good, but it is like not difficult, it is not bad either. And compared to these two builds, I actually would say that I prefer my build. And this match, well, the teammates were really bad at going to the next point on time. And it was a pretty sweaty match. I thought that we were going to lose, but I managed to pull through. And later teammates, we also started to playing OBG more properly, but it was very intense until the end, and I think that this is one of the most intense matches that I had this season. And yes, so many kills, very sweaty, and at the end teammates started playing OBG and we just clutched. And now the last build is Bobby's, and it is kind of a mix of my build and Vague's and iFerg's, except it is slower because it has the fast reload mag, which has a slower ADS time, and it also has the same stock that iFerg and Vague are using, which improves the ADS movement, but it means that the hipfire is also worsened. And on top of that, he uses the same grip set that I'm using for the grip tape, which improves the recoil, which is nice, but makes mobility slower and sprint to fire delay slower as well. And so basically this is the slowest build, although the ADS movement being better, it kind of compensates the slowness, but at the same time hipfire, like I said, is not as good as my build. And the max size, even though it has more bullets, but the slower ADS time is really not that great. And I think that it could be usable if you are a bit more like passive or just playing not sweaty rank lobbies. And it kind of makes sense that Bobby would suggest it, because I mean he does not seem to be a very sweaty player. But I don't really like it. And from these builds I still prefer my build. And I will just keep on using it because, like I said, the iFerg's one, it is kind of just unfocused. Like it feels like a combination of good attachments without a synergy between them, because having lesser sprint to fire delay and towards hip fire and not as fast ADS, it is just kind of odd. And this match, teammates were really bad at capturing points at first, but later in the second half we kind of pulled through. And this concludes my gunsmith comparison, and it would be cool to hear your opinion, which build you think is better and which are you using yourself. Maybe you have a different build, then I could try it out. Because I mean I just want to know which build is the best for me and overall. So I would use the best VMP Gunsmith, simple as that. And when I'm doing this I just share my conclusion.